In the printing process, spot colors are often used to ensure the integrity of a color or to convey a brand's identity. A spot color is a premixed ink that is used by offset printers, screen printers, and others to ensure the proper production of a job. So it's important that when you create artwork intended to be used in the printing process with a spot color, that you apply the color properly. Let's take a look at how to add spot colors to artwork inside of Illustrator. So I'm beginning this video with the spot_colors.ai file already open on my computer. And to apply spot colors to a job, we're going to come over here to the swatches panel. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up here to our panel menu. And we're going to click on this, and we're going to choose the spot colors choice in that listing. And what this essentially does is it allows you to define how spot colors are handled inside of Illustrator. The first option, use lab values specified by the book manufacturer, is the best choice when you're using a color managed workflow. The second choice, use CMYK values from the manufacturer's process books, is best used as a reasonable conversion when you are converting a spot color to process in that example. So by default, I'm going to use the CMYK option that's listed, or the second radio button. But do know that if you're using a color managed workflow, you may want to choose this top option. And this is simply determining how spot colors are going to be handled when you're using them in Illustrator. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and let's move on to adding spot colors inside of Illustrator. So what I'm going to do is click on the panel menu in the swatches panel one more time. I'm going to come down to Open Swatch Library. I'm going to go to Color Books. And in this resulting list, you'll see a whole list of spot color libraries that are available. Now, by and large, the most common spot color library is the Pantone libraries. And even with the Pantone family, you have several different libraries that you can choose from metallic spot colors to pastels to the new color bridge that Pantone recently released. But one of the most common is the Pantone solid coated and uncoated libraries. And the coated and uncoated is simply relating to the paper that your content will be printed on. So for now, I'm going to choose Pantone solid coated. I'm going to choose that option, and it's going to bring up the Pantone solid coated library in its own panel. Now, when you're looking for a spot color to add in Illustrator, oftentimes you will already know what number you should be using. So up here in the Find field, if you click inside of there and we type a number, such as 300, it's going to automatically select that inside of your library. So with 300 typed in there, if you press return, and it's kind of hard to see, but if we come up to the panel menu and you choose small list view, you'll get a better idea of how this looks. And now you can more easily see the option or the choice that has been made in the Find field. So if that's the one you want, you can use it. I'm really not sure which color I want to use here. I'd rather just look through my library. So let's go up here to the panel menu and change it back to small thumbnail view. And I want to choose another orange color that's similar to this, but as a spot color. So I'm just going to come over here. I think Pantone, let's maybe go with Pantone 1655. So I'm just going to click on that swatch and drag it over here into my swatches panel. You can see that that's been added right here. Now we need to find a greenish color. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to find maybe a darker green color that I can use here. Maybe we'll go with something like this right here, 5743. Go ahead and drag that over as well. And now we've added them to our swatches panel, so we no longer need this floating Pantone solid coated panel. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now you'll notice that a spot color is defined using this little triangle in the lower corner with a dot. And that indicates that that swatch is a spot color. If you double click on that swatch, it'll bring up your swatch options. And you do have some choices you can make in here. By default, your color mode, you can click on that and you can change that to CMYK if you wish. If you actually want this color to print as 4-color process as opposed to a spot color, you can also change this to process color, and that will then in turn remove this little triangle in the lower right corner. If I click OK, you'll notice that that now goes away. If we double click on that again, you'll also notice that this is a global color. So the global color is actually what puts the triangle there, and the spot color is what puts the spot or the dot inside of there. If I were to turn off global and click OK, you'll notice this now appears like the other swatches that are available. So I'm going to undo a couple of times so that both of these swatches are now indicated as their original spot colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one as is, but let's now format this content using the spot swatches. So I'm going to marquee this area here, highlighting all of the orange text, and I'm going to click on the orange spot color. Now we can see that that has been formatted or applied using that spot swatch. I'm going to go ahead and click on the top line here, then I'll shift click on the bottom line, and I'll apply this dark green swatch color as well. When you've applied spot colors to your artwork in Illustrator, especially when they're combined with CMYK colors or even RGB colors, it can be hard to determine where the spot colors are used. But fortunately, Illustrator provides some tools that make it easy for us to see this. So if I come up to the Window menu and I come down to Separations Preview, this is going to open up a new panel. And if I open up this panel a little bit further, you're going to be able to see that it's going to show me not only the process colors, or the 4-color process colors, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, but also the spot colors that are used. And what makes this really powerful is I can turn on and off the visibility of these colors if I want to. So if I click the Overprint Preview checkbox, now I can come down here and disable different colors and hide them from view. So you notice if I turn off the Pantone swatch, that ink disappears. When I turn off the CMYK swatches, anything that is CMYK disappears as well. So one of the things I'm going to do here, let's turn CMYK back on. You'll notice that the line that I applied a spot color to is not disappearing. And that is because I inadvertently applied the spot color to the fill instead of the stroke. So let's go ahead and select both of these lines. I'm going to set the fill to none. Then let's make the stroke active. Come over to the swatches panel and make sure we pick this new spot swatch that we created. So I'll click on that, deselect it. And now if I come back in here, you'll notice that if I turn off the 5743 color, that now disappears. If I turn off Pantone 1655, that disappears as well. So the Separations Preview panel is a really easy way for me to identify where I've used a spot color and what artwork is using that particular spot color. It's also helpful when using CMYK colors because I can just turn off the CMYK and see what artwork is using that color model. And you can even turn off the individual separations if you want to. So I'll go ahead and turn off Overprint Preview. I'll close the Separations Preview panel. And as you've seen, it's not very difficult to apply a spot color to artwork in Illustrator once you understand how to do it. When you need to add spot ink colors to your project in Illustrator, hopefully you'll now know the proper way to do it.